Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we're going to talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today, and if you want to call in, 570-530-8316. Beeb, let's get it started. The Zone Riyadh season. Hey, you know what? Before we even go any further, what was there, like 7 fights on that card? 7 or 8 fights?
Yes.
First of all, it was beautiful. All right, I've never seen anything like it. It was flawless. It really was. Even though we had two events, the Shakur fight and the Joseph Parker fight, the guys fell ill. But I heard there was a thing going around in Saudi Arabia anyway. But even still, we got a replacement on Martin Bacoli, who in name, he just creamed Jared Anderson. So, listen, you can't ask for a better replacement. And I get that guy wasn't training at the time. I get it. But it's a big name replacement, right? Shakur got another guy, and it wasn't who we expected. But again, it was a replacement. They filled the card, which was awesome. I thought it was awesome that they did that. The other thing I wanted to mention, was this $24, $25 on the Zone?
Yeah, it's $25.
$25.
Yeah.
25. And in a couple of weeks, they're going to want you to pay $80 to watch Tank Davis in a card that doesn't even come close to this one. It's not even, they're not even in the same ballpark, right? They're not even close. Like
not in the same dimension.
No. And like when I'm looking at that card, I'm just like, dude, like that's not a pay-per-view card. That's not a pay-per-view fight right there. It's just not.
Not at
and
all.
It's not hating. It's not anything else. Listen, it's just what it is.
An honest assessment. It's an honest assessment.
Put this card up against the $80 card. You tell me which one you'd rather watch.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy, right?
No brainer.
This is like the Wrestlemania of boxing cards, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, really. We used to do that back in the day when Wrestlemania happened or whatever. We would put our favorite, let's put a card together. It would be Wrestlemania like for boxing, where they have all the top guys. That's what they did here. That's what they did here.
There's times
it's amazing.
Yeah, there's times when I'd be watching a card and I just don't like the undercard. And I'm like, oh, can't wait for this to get over. Can't wait till this get over. Can't wait. It's like when you had that an album and you like 2 or 3 songs and you just kept fast forwarding into the songs you like. I have that same mentality sometimes when I'm watching cards, and I'm like, I really only like 2 fights on this card, and I'd be like, oh, I can't wait for this. I did not have that. I was like,
I was engaged in every single one.
I sat there like a lump on my couch,
right?
And I was not bored at all. And the pacing was great. I'm glad they watched this show and they listened to us complain about the pacing.
They listen to it all the time.
They finally fixed it because of me watching this show.
Turkey actually sent me a text. He was like, "Do you like the pace?" I said, "I love it. Good job. Keep it going, brother. Alhamdulillah." And I was, and I'm telling him, I'm like, "Look, man," I said, "that pace was amazing." What was it, like 5-10? It was like 10 minutes. It was almost like UFC. As soon as one bout ended, the other guys were coming down. I mean, it was like that. It was similar.
And I wonder if Dana said something to him, because he does work with Dana now too. Does some cards with Dana. And I wonder if Dana said something to him.
Yeah, I guarantee he did. Guarantee.
Dana said something to him.
Between us and Dana, he got it together. Blue Tank said there was no anthems. Good. And you know what? That's the other thing that I noticed. There was no national anthem. When the guys got in the ring, you do all this hype, right? They've done all this hype for months and months and months, and you get there. And between every fight, they're still hyping the main event, blah, blah, blah. And then once you get there, they come out at, on a normal fight card, like 1 a.m. in the morning or something stupid. And then you got to have 50 national anthems. You got to have all that stuff. And it's like, this was so good because it just got to the action, because you were already sitting there for 6 hours. They just got to the action. Loved it. It was a flawless card, man. It really was.
Yeah, no complaints.
No, I don't know anybody that can really complain about this, but we'll try. Dimitri Bivol versus Arthur Beterbiev for the undisputed light heavyweight title. Dmitry Bivol wins the undisputed light heavyweight title over Beterbiev by majority decision, 114 all, 116, 112, and 115, 113 for Bivol. I had Beterbiev winning 115, 113. Beeb, you had it 116, 112, didn't you?
For Bivol, yeah.
For Bivol. That's how Antonio had it as well. You and Antonio agree on fights quite a bit, man.
Another guy that watches the show and listens to the Beeb.
That's
but
right.
I hope no one listened to the Beeb yesterday when he did it when he did his beating the odds with Beeb segment.
Holy Jesus!
Because remember I told you guys that I'm right 50%
That was
of the
just.
time?
Let me tell you what. Your picks yesterday were like shit times 20. It was bad.
Got every pick wrong.
You got people kicked out of their homes last night.
Oh,
you got people missing mortgage payments. Now they got to sell coke to make ends meet. I don't know what you're doing, but you put a whole lot of people on the streets now.
Yeah, I did a lot of prop bets, and the fights that I thought were going to go the distance, they ended up being knockouts. And and my old new theory now of never betting on clinically obese fighters.
That works.
That halfway worked. It halfway worked, but now you can't even bet on these clinically obese fighters to go the distance because both clinically obese fighters got knocked out early. So even that theory is somewhat compromised.
All right, so let me see this. So I think I picked Beterbiev, but I picked Dmitry Bivol to win. I won that bet. In the other one, I took Martin Bacoli. Of course, I took a bath on that one. I put Israel Madrimov. I luckily had to cash out of that one. I lost like $3 or something stupid. Just to get, I'm not a heavy roller. I mean, not a high roller, heavy roller, whatever you call it.
That's all right.
5 units, baby. 5 units. Each unit is like $1. So Hamza,
I bet
my 5-star pick, baby.
I bet 5 units and it's $5.
That's right. That's a unit. Hamza Sheraz, that was a push, so that saved me too. And typically, I don't know, DraftKings, I know like typically when you lose, like all ties lose usually.
Well, that's
usually,
UK.
It used
that's
to
UK
be.
betting. That's UK betting. That's not United States betting, I believe.
I thought that was always the case. Like even on the parlay cards or whatever, I remember like all ties lose. But that could have been just because of the book too. It wasn't like we weren't betting at a casino. We were just betting,
Yeah.
Every book has its own rules.
Yeah, most sports books that I know of, you're right though. Each book does have its own rules, but most that I've dealt with, a draw is a push. But in the UK, it's not. You lose in the UK if it's a draw.
Joe Ramos says you guys got commercials during the show now. No, not that I know of. It could be the YouTube. Like I know YouTube pushes commercials.
Yeah,
like
the YouTube
watch it. They'll actually put it in there.
Yeah.
If you got YouTube Premium, they won't do that.
Yeah.
So
put an ad blocker on your browser or something. See if that works. You gotta pay the bills here. What do you expect? Jesus.
That's right.
Look at this beautiful studio we have here, RB.
Right? I mean,
how
these belts on the wall aren't going to pay for themselves. I mean,
How much you think the utilities cost here at Beeb Industries?
Oh, it's got to be nuts. It's got to be nuts.
Right? The internet bill just went up last week. I mean, what do you expect from us?
It's crazy.
Please.
When you do the other show, you're in another office. So it's like, it's like HR over there.
That's right.
What you guys doing? Beeb, the fight was close. I thought it could have went either way. I really did. I didn't.
Close fight.
It was close. I mean, I ended up having, what did I have? I had Bivol win. I had Beterbiev winning. I think I had 115, 113 for Beterbiev. But I wasn't mad at it. I mean, I thought it could win either way. But I tell you what Bivol did that he didn't do in the first fight was this movement that he had early on. And you tell me, was it in the third or fourth round, something like that? Bivol got clipped with an overhand right, and he just shut down for like literally a few rounds. And he must have really been hurt. And it took a lot for him to come back and get that decision. You know what I mean? It really did. That was not an easy thing for him to do. I mean, he was hurt. You could see it. He was hurt. So I don't know. And I don't know if it was a right hand. I know the announcers were speculating that he may have hurt his hand or something like that, but it didn't look like it later on. Second half of the fight seemed like Bivol caught his second wind. He looked like he was gassed too. He was able to outbox Beterbiev down the stretch. Fight could have went either way, man. But that being said, I don't want a third one. These two are always going to be those perfect opponents for each other. It's always going to, every time you put them in there, it will be a close fight. It just will be. I think it's time to let Benavidez come in there and take out Bivol and at least get a chance at that. And if you want to have a third after that, then go get a third after that. But for all intents and purposes, man, I think that you put Bivol and I think you got to give Benavidez a shot now. I don't think it deserves a 3. I don't think it does.
Yeah, I agree with you there too, because I would like to see Benavidez get a shot.
He's waited too long. He's waited too long now.
So I'll give you my observation of some of the things that I noticed from Bivol that were different. He paced himself a little bit better this fight. He fought at a more moderate pace.
Yeah.
Not a slow pace, but a moderate pace.
Sure.
And as you said, a little bit less movement, more subtle movement. Did not back out from far away like he did in the first fight. He was stepping way out, getting out of range, and he was circling from the outside. Here he was more or less taking the half step. He was turning Beterbiev, right? And Beterbiev had a hard time going to the body because one beautiful move that Bivol does when his opponent steps in and Beterbiev steps in hard with that jab, he slips to his left a little bit and he just turns and when he punches, he brings that shoulder up like right by his chin while he's throwing that counter right hand, takes his head off center line, but he also puts that shoulder right near his chin so he can block the counter shot, whether it after he slips a jab, it's hard for Beterbiev to come around with that. Yeah. So he has that beautiful little move with that counter right hand, and that counter right hand was beautiful, right? It was beautiful. So if you're Beterbiev stepping in hard with that jab, trying to set yourself up to go to the body, it's hard when you're being disrupted by that counter right hand. And another thing Bivol did too, if you notice this, when he was back on the ropes, he would spin right off the ropes, spin right out of corners. He didn't allow himself or choose to stay on the ropes or stay in the corner, because a lot of times he will stay in the corner, stay in the ropes because he's trying to suck his opponent into a counter shot, set the traps. He did it a lot in the first fight. He did it a lot against Canelo. In this fight, he made a concerted effort to keep this fight in the center of the ring, right? And when Beterbiev doesn't have you cornered or boxed off like that up against the ropes or trapped in the corner, has a hard time getting the shots off. So again, more subtle movement, less distance moving away when he reset, just took the half step and turn, step around. Yeah. That and pace was a little bit more moderate, and he was able to have more gas in the tank in the second half of the fight. Whereas Beterbiev started out faster, and it seemed to drain him a little bit in the second half, because in the middle we started saying, both of us, "Oh, Bivol looks like he's tired," right? Like maybe in rounds.
It was the fourth
and fifth rounds. He looked like he was the fight was turning in Beterbiev's favor and getting away from Bivol.
4, 5, 6, and 7. I gave Beterbiev.
Yeah, but then maybe 8, 9, 8 on or whatever, he really started kicking into second gear.
Looked like a different fighter. He looked like the fighter at the beginning of the
Yeah, he dug down deep, and that's where Beterbiev started to look a little out of sorts, right?
Yeah,
he started slowing down a bit. So this was a rare occasion where the second fight was I would say much better than the first fight. And
I think it was too. Yeah, for
that's
sure.
saying a lot. That's saying a lot, because the first fight was good. This was much better though. This was a really good fight, tactical fight. While being tactical, it was still exciting, right?
Yeah.
So I loved the fight.
It was like I said, man, that fourth round, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I gave to Beterbiev, and that's when he just shut down. It was almost like he shut down for those rounds, and he was just taking them. He wasn't returning anything, and the announcers were saying, "Oh, I think he's hurt, this and that." I think he was hurt, or I think it wasn't injured, but I think he was buzzed. I think that shot, I was shocked. I mean, like I said, he hit him hard. It looked, and Bivol really sold it. If that was wrong with him, I don't know, but that's kind of the conclusion I drew when I saw that shot, and then nothing out of him. So yeah. So it was overall a good fight. I don't want to see a third though. I don't think there's a.
I don't want to see
if we see a third, we can see a third. Okay, but the caveat is Benavidez has got to get his first.
Yeah, I want to see Benavidez get in there with Bivol. I would love to see that fight.
That's a crazy fight, man. Because let me tell you what, that pressure that Beterbiev put on him, it had an effect on Bivol. It had an effect in both fights. Had an effect. That is nothing compared to the pressure that Benavidez is going to bring to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is much more aggressive than Beterbiev.
Yeah. Well, he throws a lot more punches too.
Yes.
And I think his gas tank's a little bit deeper as well. And a lot of people, they just think that I'm hearing people on Twitter and on YouTube saying that they don't think Benavidez would have a shot against Bivol. I think it's a good fight, Eric. I think it's a really good fight. I think style-wise, it's a great fight. I don't know how you wouldn't want to see that.
I'm telling you, Benavidez is the guy. He's the guy, man. He's for right now in that weight division until he's beaten. I don't know that he can be beaten. Until he's beaten, he's like John Jones. Until he loses, I'm not going to bet. I'm not going to be the one betting against him.
A lot of people aren't high on the guy. I like him. I want to see him in there with Bivol. I think it would be a great fight. I would rather see that first, and then let Beterbiev get the winner of that one.
Yeah.
Why not?
I agree.
That's just me. To each his own.
But hey, look, man, we got a new undisputed champion. That's Bivol, and that was a good fight. That last fight was a great fight.
Yeah.
Could have went either way, and then like I said, man, what do you want to ask for? That's it. Co-main, Joseph Parker versus Martin Bakole. Now listen, man, on paper, this is a great fight, right? On paper, this is a great fight. Here's the problem, is that they said that he just got off a holiday. They were talking about Bakole just got off a holiday. And listen, Bacole's a big dude. I get it. He was 310 or 315 pounds. Was it
315? 315. Obese. What did I say about clinically obese fighters? I mean, you guys get mad at me. You say I'm fat shaming. I care about the fighter's health, man.
And you're right. And you know what?
Heart disease is the number one killer in America right now. Heart disease.
That's it. And don't ever bet on them. And you know what? Use that formula. You win.
Don't bet on clinically obese fighters.
That's
anymore.
it.
They both lost.
They win.
They both lost.
But yeah, on the big fights, man. I don't know. This guy came in. He didn't have any camp. I think maybe he was just getting back to the gym. Maybe you could tell he was completely out of shape. Like when I saw him get in the ring, I was like, whoa, because I didn't see him at the weigh-in or anything. I saw him get in the ring though. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, yeah, this ain't going your way, man. This ain't, Parker at least had a camp. And even though he doesn't know who he's fighting and everything, he had a camp. He was in shape, What did you think about Parker coming in, 12 pounds overweight?
Yeah,
wasn't overweight, but it was like 12 pounds heavier than his last weight.
He looked a little thick.
Yeah.
He looked smooth. Like he didn't look like his normal.
I kind of wonder, like, what a Dubois fight would have looked like.
Yeah. So I have to ask myself, is this going to be the new weight for him, or is this just a one-time thing? Because I'm not sure that I actually.
Well, this is perfect too. Raphael said that he was 278 against Jared Anderson.
Yeah.
So that's a big jump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big jump from, I mean, come on. So you can't really expect too much out of him.
He put on 20 pounds. Both guys were 20 pounds heavier than they were in their last fight. Both.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, it was, not great, but Joseph Parker did what he was supposed to do. He came out and got rid of him. The guy was out of shape, and he went ahead and got rid of him. Parker did what he needed to do. He looked sharp. I think that I thought Parker looked pretty good here, though. I really did. And I think Dubois may have dodged a bullet here because Joseph Parker looks solid right here.
Well, Robbie and I were picking Parker against Dubois, even though I like Dubois a lot, and I probably would have wanted him to win, but
you liked him a lot. That's why you sat there and just ran his name up and down the mud. Just slung mud at him.
A lot of protection.
Nah. But now he's your favorite.
Daniel Dubois watches this show, and I sent him clips of what
you
did years ago. Those clips.
My personal friend.
Those clips.
Daniel Dubois watches this show. I'll tell you that right now.
Those clips when you were defaming him.
You mean when you were defaming him?
Years ago.
I remember that. You were defaming.
I created those.
You called him a quitter. When you called him a quitter, you're going to deny that now. Now you're going to deny it?
I created those clips into shorts, and I sent them to him. He remembers everything you did.
AI is amazing these days.
And none of the projection that you're doing right now will
He
work.
knows all that nonsense was just AI that you sent him. He knows you were the culprit. That's right. That's what he knows for sure.
Please.
Tell you that right now.
Please.
All right. So Parker hit him with, what was it, a left? It looked like a left hook.
I thought it was
right on top of the head.
Was it a left hook or a right hand? I thought it was a right hand. Was it?
I thought it was a left hook.
Yeah.
But who knows? Anyway.
Who cares?
He hit him on top of the head. It looked like It looked like he hit him in the temple. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
That second, because I had to go back and look at it. I'm like, because that didn't look like a
right
big
hand.
shot.
Yeah, it was a right hand.
It was a right hand. Okay. He bounced off his temple. And I looked it looked like between the temple and the top of the head, but I think it got his temple because it was a delayed reaction and he just fell down. So he gets back up. The ref immediately stopped the fight. Didn't let him come back in. Didn't let him do anything. Be premature?
No, I didn't care. It was over.
Oh,
He was
dare you?
I didn't even care. Just I didn't. I mean,
He hit Parker with a couple of shots, man. He hit Parker with a couple of shots, but
I'm gonna say something.
Oh, don't.
And people may not like it.
Stop it.
When I saw him take his shirt off and I looked at his condition, I was like, I already checked out. I already checked out. I was like, this is like,
you know, like
there's no way he's winning this fight either way. So
when you know,
get him
like,
out of there.
Like, you know, when you take your shirt off and you look like me and you're getting ready to go in a boxing ring for a professional fight, like, come on, man. I'm not betting that. It was like, come on, man. Oh, it's awful, man. But listen, at least he came. You know, he earned $600,000 for that fight. 600,000, 600K.
Not bad.
That ain't bad. I would have took that.
I would have taken it.
Heck yeah. 600,000 to save that event. Yeah, heck yeah. I'm taking that. You know, he's building a mall in the Congo or something like that. So he's like a builder or something like that also. So he was like, well, I needed money for that. So he was like, I'm going to go get it. Because, okay, so that thing, he didn't want to fight. I think that's what it was. He didn't want to fight at first because he knew he was out of shape. But,
here's the thing. When Turkey drops the envelope on your lap and then he promises you another fight regardless, win, lose, or draw.
He's got like 3 fights Turkey promised him, I think. I think that's what they were saying. They promised him 3 fights this year.
So what are you going to do?
Look, man.
If you turn this fight down, then
he's not right. You know, and I mean, either way, like he's going to bring you back. So it doesn't matter. This is like a free fight for you.
Yeah.
You win, beautiful. But if you lose, we all understand. You know what I mean?
This was the quickest 600,000 he's probably ever made in his life.
What did they say? It was like $1,300 some a second. It was something along those lines. They broke it down like that because it was like 5 minutes or something. Robbie could probably break it down.
Yeah.
My least favorite fight was Shakur Stevenson versus Josh Padley. I was zoning in and out on this one.
Yeah.
Shakur knocks out Padley in the 9th round. Padley was a late sub for Schofield, who fell ill. You know, listen, but say what you want.
I was inspired by his effort. And I loved how the crowd was getting behind him too, and they were booing Shakur and stuff.
Yeah.
I liked it.
But, you know, Stevenson here needed to impress.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stevenson needed to impress. Yeah. And quite honestly, I think he did. He did. He knocked the guy out. What did you say? He won every single round, ended up putting the guy away, knocked him down multiple times. Hey, that's it.
He did his job.
He did his job, man. Let me tell you what, Shakur is exactly where he belongs in Riyadh season.
Yeah.
This is exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Because they will get him the fights.
They'll get him fights.
They will get him those fights. Yep.
Yeah.
He doesn't need Top Rank anymore or wherever he's at. He doesn't need any of that. He needs to go to Turkey. They will give him the fights.
Yeah. And Tank's gotta fight someone on that level.
They're trying. They're trying. He said he asked for some stupid stuff like 2 Ferraris or something stupid. And I think they were just cornering around. But, you know, it's like, dude, like, come on, man. The money's here. Money's here, you know? And again, these are where the big fights are happening.
Yeah. So. And
you see the stuff he's putting on, you know? Let's go down to this one. Carlos Adames versus Hamza Sheraz for Adames title. And this was actually a draw. Adames and Sheraz fought to a draw. Scores were 115-114 Sheraz, 118-110 for Adames, which I thought was way wide, and 114-114. Beeb, I have no problem with the draw. But 118, 110 for Adames, that was too far. That was Hamza won more than 2 rounds. Come on.
Yeah. I had it 115 to 113 for Adames.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are looking at the draw saying the draw is crazy. I don't think so.
No.
I mean, you could possibly flip that 5th round. I had the 5th round to Adames. If I flip the 5th round to Sheraz, I have it a draw too. So the draw, you can argue maybe it's improbable, but it's not impossible, right? So I don't think the draw was ridiculous, but
No.
I thought Adames edged it out 150.
I thought Adames won the fight. Yeah, I kind of thought, yeah.
I thought it was a close fight. I don't think it was like Adames dominated by any means. But one thing you could say is like
I thought he won the fight though.
Yeah, I thought Adames won the fight. Yeah. I don't think he dominated, man. Some people are say, oh, there's no way that this fight could be a draw or whatever. All right, it's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I know sometimes when someone does overachieve, do better than as expected, then people kind of side with that guy a little bit. But
so Sheraz was the house fighter here.
He was a house fighter. He was
just picked by Turkey. They love him over there. He's a big favorite hero over there, man.
He's a favorite. I think Sheraz is like Turkey's favorite fighter, like he said. And I think they said Sheraz said he had a hand injury. I don't know if he sustained it during the fight or he had it in training. I don't know, but he said that was the reason for his poor performance. I don't know, but it seemed to me that he had a hard time timing Adames on the way in, because Adames has really quick foot speed. He's very herky-jerky with his movement, changing levels and dipping and ducking and feinting and stuff. So he's tricky when he comes in, and he's got quick feet, quick hands. And it just seemed like Sheraz had a hard time timing Adames coming in, and Adames was just outworking him. And early on, the fight, the rounds were kind of quiet rounds, but you can argue that maybe Sheraz was winning him with his jab, because earlier in the early rounds, like maybe 1 through 4, Sheraz was timing him with the jab a little bit. He was getting to him with the jab, but then on the way in, Adames made that adjustment. He started slipping it, and he was giving that little foot feint on the way in, and it caused some hesitation from Sheraz getting that jab off. And if he did hurt the right hand, or the right hand was hurt, he still had the left hand, and he got away from the jab, or he couldn't land the jab, couldn't find the range with the jab or touch him with the jab. He had a hard time tracking him down with that jab from the 5th round on. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the right hand or not, but I have to give Adames some type of credit for making adjustments and throwing those little foot feints and dipping and ducking and using his head movement and just making himself a compact target and a hard target to pin down, right? So he fought a very smart tactical fight, Adames, and he did end up making the adjustment once he was able to get by that jab. The rest was elementary for him, in my opinion.
Frank Warren did say that Hamza Sheraz busted his hand.
Yeah.
So whether it was broke or whether it was just injured, I don't know.
Go into
there was
fight?
An issue with the hand. I know there was an issue with the hand.
Did he go into the fight with the hand busted, or did he injure it during the fight? They didn't clarify that.
You don't know. You don't know. But I'm glad, like I said, this guy was a lot of hype coming behind this guy, and I like him. I've always liked him. Ever since we've seen him, I liked him. He's exciting. He's a good fighter. I want to see him again. I'm still going to watch him. Yeah, of course.
Watch him. I'm not going to shit on the guy. He had a subpar.
Now you were talking about. Yeah, you were talking about something earlier. I didn't see it, but you said you caught it. Was Turkey going to the judges' table or something like that, or going to the corner?
Shout out to Stephen Edwards, because he mentioned this on Twitter, and I did notice. I did notice Stephen Edwards, Breadman. Shout out to him, because he did mention it, and I actually quote tweeted him afterward. But I did see Turkey Al-Sheikh, and they showed replays of it too. Oddly enough, right? He was going up to the walking around the ring. You see him scrambling around the ring, right? And then he goes to Sheraz's corner, talks to look at it, come look, you're down 2 rounds. You're down 2 rounds. Talking to the trainer, you're down 2 rounds.
Do that, man.
Screaming and yelling.
Do that, because anybody else, if his corner would have went over there, anybody else's corner they would have been disqualified immediately.
Yeah,
you can't do that. I don't care who's putting on the show. You have to follow the rules.
And Mauricio Suleiman's there. He's not saying anything. He's not doing anything. So
of course not. Of course he's
to me, now, did I see him actually go and peek over? But again, he's running like he's going all around the ring, like pacing back and forth and circling like the vicinity of the ring. And then he holds up, you're down 2 rounds. You're down 2 rounds. Like,
and they're not supposed to know the score anyway. So if you want to do this off of the TV or whatever, we've seen people do that on HBO. Remember HBO fighting, HBO boxing, where the corner will call home and see what they got it, and see what it is. Or when they had open scoring for that, where the corner would call home or something like that, they would let them know what the scoring is.
Now, here's the thing, Eric. Someone just said, oh, well, he can't change the scorecards. No. But by revealing what the scorecards...
but you can influence them too. With this guy paying you, your supervisor's over there looking at what you're marking down. It's a house fighter here.
Not only that, if someone comes up to the trainer and says something to the fighter, now if the fighter knows he's behind, he's going to change his strategy. So you're giving him, it's like giving the other team the playbook, right? So if the Patriots are able to see the Jets playbook, they know the plays that are coming. So if you know you're down, you're going to change your strategy. So if if only one fighter knows the score, why can't the other fighter know the score? So it just shows a favoritism to one fighter. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so, I 100% agree. 100% agree. Who said that he could do it? Let's see here. I just saw a comment says that Tim Bradley told Bud he was down 2 rounds in the Porter fight. Yeah, but Tim Bradley didn't have access to the judges' cards because he wasn't down 2 rounds. I don't know if he was or not, but I mean, he doesn't have access to the judges' cards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can tell, you can say whatever, but
Tim Bradley wasn't running around pacing around the ring.
Right.
And, and I believe some people were saying that he was looking at the judges' scorecards. I don't know for certain, but I strongly suspect he was. But also, like, if Sean Porter if he did tell Crawford he was down 2 rounds, or not, who said Crawford was down?
Tim Bradley.
Tim Bradley said that. Tim Bradley said that.
And I don't know this. This is coming from Raphael.
But it could have been Tim Bradley scoring the fight himself, just saying that I have you down 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying?
And James Hunt says, "How do you know Turkey had an official score?" I don't. Yeah. I'm just telling you.
How do you know he didn't?
What Beeb told me. Yeah.
How do you know he didn't?
What he told me. So
yeah. How do you know he didn't have an official score if he's running around the ring?
Based on what you suspect. Hey, listen. This is what they said. What they say.
Bradley wasn't running the event either, but Bradley probably was telling Crawford that he has him down 2 rounds, right? So
yeah. So
that's just my opinion. It seems like shady to me. That's all I'm
saying.
saying.
If it did happen, like I said, if it did happen, you say it did. I trust you, but it is shady if that's the case.
Yeah, he was running around the ring, and people were saying that they suspect he was looking at scorecards.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Pocket says because Turkey didn't tell Eric when they spoke last week. He's right. He didn't tell me about that, and so me and him have that kind of relationship, that kind of go back and forth. I love Turkey, my boy. Yeah. Let's talk about this one, man. This was the fight that I looked forward to probably the most on the card. And that's Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov. Ortiz, man, really surprised me. Outworked Madrimov to win a unanimous decision. 117, 111, 115, 113 twice. Madrimov was dominating early with movement. When we talked about this, right? And we talked about his movement, and you said he reminded you of who?
Sergio Martinez.
Yeah. And he reminded me a lot of Acelino Freitas, Popo Freitas, when he used to fight, and he was just like he was on ice skates the whole time, constantly moving. And I'm like, man, I said, you got to be like in shape, like some crazy shape to keep this pace up. It turns out, it's a hard thing to keep up, especially when somebody's hitting you in the body, over and over again. Ortiz started going to Madrimov's body, breaking him down. And I tell you what, Ortiz looked frustrated very early in that fight, Beeb. He looked really frustrated in that fight. But him and his corner, they did a great job of turning it around and, making the adjustments that they needed to make. I had the fight score 116, 112 for Ortiz. That was by far, this is the best I've seen Ortiz.
Yeah.
And I think the Crawford-Ortiz fight would be the fight to make versus the Canelo fight. I mean, I don't care which one we get, but I mean, listen, man. Ortiz looked amazing. I thought he looked great.
He fought with a lot of determination. He kept coming forward. And this was another guy who he made adjustments too, because he was having problems with the movement, but he stayed on top of Madrimov and he didn't let him go. And there's only so much you can move in a fight, and then you're going to have to stand and hold your ground. And there were points in this fight when Madrimov just ran out of space. And those were the times we had to fight Ortiz off him. And Ortiz, on a lot of those occasions, was getting the better of him. And the big game changer here was the body work from Ortiz. He started really bending his knees, getting low, and really ripping them shots to the body. He stopped focusing on the head as much. And shout out to Ring IQ, because he also said that like Madrimov was moving, but just for the sake of moving. And it's one thing, you want to make them miss, you got to make them pay. We always say that. Everyone always says that. That's the old cliche. You got to make them miss, you got to make them pay. Mm-hmm. And Madrimov was just making them miss, and he wasn't always making them pay.
It was just, and under a microscope just said he wasted a lot of energy on useless movement. And he did. Yeah, it was completely useless.
Ring IQ was saying, this guy was moving just for the sake of moving.
And listen, if you can keep that up all 12 rounds, great.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that. You
have to land something.
You're going to have to land something. Yeah. He was winning. Like I said, I think I gave him the first couple rounds. They were, like I said, he was making him miss. He wasn't the aggressor, but he was making him miss, making him pay, and he was getting in shots and everything.
Yeah.
And almost like pot shotting him. That's what surprised me. And Ortiz just went back. They made the adjustments they needed. They went to the body, tried to slow this guy down, and sure enough, it worked, man.
Yeah. And shout out to Tone, because I heard that too. Madrimov did say he was ill before the fight. And again,
I'll tell you what, he didn't look ill during that fight. I'll tell you that right now. He did not look ill during that fight.
I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but
I get you, man. But look,
I don't want to take away from Ortiz, man. Like again,
listen, I bet on Madrimov, man, and so I thought he was definitely going to win this fight.
I picked Madrimov to win. Now, was he sick? I don't think, in my opinion, and then
he was sick of those body shots is what he got sick of.
I'm not a doctor, but how sick was he?
Yeah.
I'm not going to take away from what Ortiz did. I don't want to insult Madrimov either, because he fought a good fight, but just sometimes I would rather people just keep things to themselves. Some things are better left unsaid. I have that told to me all the time because I got a big mouth, so sometimes I got to put a cap on it.
That's right. That's right. What's next? What's next for Virgil Ortiz now? With Crawford seemingly going up to fight Canelo, do you think they'll try to make that fight, him and Crawford?
No, because it's pretty much a done deal right now.
Corey says, I bet on Ortiz. Yeah, sure.
He sent me the slip. I have to vouch for him. He sent me the slip. One thing he did beautifully yesterday, DraftKings lets you do this. They let you bet on the exact outcome, meaning you can bet on a straight unanimous decision, meaning it can't be a split, can't be a majority.
I got you.
He bet Shakur by TKO.
Okay.
Not by stoppage, not by stoppage. When you bet the stoppage, when you bet the stoppage prop, right? You can win if it's a TKO, knockout, disqualification.
I gotcha.
He bet straight TKO, and he won.
Well, Omar Rodriguez says he said a Photoshop slip.
That's
and he's seen it before. He said, I know Omar personally. He said
show the guy some respect, man. I know Corey.
I
know Corey.
Come on, I'm just saying what the people say.
From Dorchester, man. People from Dorchester.
Dorchester.
People from the Four Corners region, they don't lie, man.
What's the matter with you? Get it together.
You gotta start showing Corey Lee some respect, man. The landscaping business is booming right now, man.
Stop it. Zhilei Zang versus Kabayel. Kabayel wins by KO in the 6th round. Zang reminds me a lot of George Foreman. He really does. He doesn't have George's chin, but he's got like George power. You know what I mean? He just has to touch you, and then you could be going to sleep.
Cutting power.
But Kabayel, to his credit, stood in there with the storm, weathered all that, And then, as the other guy got tired, he picked it up, and I thought he was impressive. I thought he was very impressive. What were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, you could see the welts on Zang's body from the body shots, right? He was like ripping them shots. Like, the guy doesn't have a lot of knockouts. He's not a monstrous puncher, but I guess when he decides to really plant his feet and dig in, right, he can rip those shots to the body. And I think he hit him right in the liver area. That was the one that did. And the referee pissed me off because, like, he hit him with a beautiful body shot in one of the rounds, like early in one of the rounds. I think it was, I want to say it was the third round, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think it was the same round he knocked him out. And earlier, he hit him with a body shot, and he doubled Zang over a little bit. And then the referee stopped, like, to check to see if it was for a low. It was a perfect shot, and the ref stopped it, thinking it was a possible low blow. And then he brings it back together, like.
Yeah, what were they doing in that instance? Yeah, what in the world? What in the world was that? Yeah, that was bad.
But the way Zang reacted to those body shots was incredible to me because, once again, my old theory works. You don't bet on clinically obese fighters. Both of these clinically obese fighters I picked to lose. I picked them to lose, but I expected them to go the distance. Well, now you can't even.
You still lost. How is it that you didn't bet? You followed your own advice and you still lost?
Because I bet a prop bet. Now I can't even bet a prop bet when there's a clinically obese fighter involved in the fight.
Bunch of people losing the houses this morning. You talking about I made a mistake. They listen to you.
Listen,
and you know what? Let me tell you what. They should.
As the great Dwyer once said, the opinion you should follow should be your own.
Oh, look at you!
This is just an opinion from an idiot online. This is just an opinion from an idiot online. So you got to just listen to Dwyer. I talked to the legal team, and I had them put out that disclaimer. Now, when people go on the Beating the Odds of Beat videos, we're going to have that disclaimer on every video now, just so I'm not held responsible for people's losses. All right. I got some affidavits this morning. My lawyer's going to have to, take care of that for me.
Affidavits. Joshua Buatsi versus Callum Smith. Callum Smith upset Joshua Buatsi by the scores of 119-110, 115-113, and 116-112. Beeb, this was a big one, man. That was a big upset, I thought.
It was a big upset.
I thought it was a huge upset. I thought it was a huge upset. Yeah.
Was this not the best fight on the card, in your opinion, entertainment-wise?
It was good. I think, and it's hard to pick because there was a lot of entertaining fights on that card.
This fight was great, though.
I thought the Ortiz fight was very entertaining to me.
Yeah, that Ortiz fight was really good too, Hans. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard. You know what it was?
The last fight was good. I mean, what about the last fight? You think the first fight was better than the last fight?
But this fight, to me, really overachieved. I thought it would be a decent fight, a good fight, dare I say. This fight was a great fight.
Yeah.
Great fight. Great fight. Shout out to Caleb Smith, too.
Man, he put it on him, didn't he?
What heart he showed in this fight. Determination, grit. And that counter right hand was beautiful.
He was hitting him with that all night, son.
Yeah. Shout out to Buatsi, too. This guy hung in there to the end, too. He was trying hard, too. So, it's a beautiful fight, man.
All right. Let's go to Robbie here. 530, you're live.
Hello, guys. What a day yesterday. What a day.
Robbie.
It was great.
How's it going, man?
It's all right. Very good day yesterday.
Really? No. Did you watch the whole card, Robbie? Did you get some Jiffy Pop and put in the microwave and get ready for the whole day?
Yeah, it started at 7:30 a.m., man. I started my day early.
Did you get your waffles in yet, or did you have to skip that because you had to start early? Or did you have to just go with the instant? Did you just go with the instant oatmeal yesterday?
No, I got everything I needed, man.
All right.
It was a good day. Eric, I agree with you. I did not expect Callum Smith to go out and do what he did. I thought Callum Smith was on his way out. Boy, did he prove me wrong.
You're always saying people are on their way out. You know who's on their way out? You with your predictions, man, because you can't keep telling people.
I think we all hit all the predictions yesterday.
You always want to give people the door, right?
So, Robert, who did you have winning? Who did you have winning on the main event?
I scored it the exact same as B, 116 and 112.
I've always said you were a great scorer. I mean, Eric
Well,
always wants
Joe,
to
you and
diminish.
I always score. Joe, you and I always score fights alike.
I mean, we're very intelligent individuals. You know, we've both been educated by the best teacher in boxing, Steve
Both
Weisfeld.
Harvard educated.
We both took the Steve Weisfeld seminars together, both of us. I even had to pitch in and pay for yours because Mrs. Eric wouldn't do it. She wouldn't pay for the seminar, so I had to do it. But it's good. Made you a good judge like me.
No, yeah, no, that card was fantastic, and for $25, God, pay-per-view people, pay attention. Turkey knows what he's doing. That was outstanding.
Promos now. We go with the Turkey promos, please.
Anyway, I had Bivol winning. I thought Callum Smith was the surprise of the day. The person that's on his way out is Zang. If any heavyweight hits him, he's gonna fall, man. He doesn't have
say it, Robbie. Say it, Robbie. What does Zang have to do? What does Zang have to do, Robbie? Say it.
He's got to find something else to do, man.
I love when he says that.
Simple as that.
Love it.
Yeah. Hey, everybody in the chat, hit the motherfucking like button.
That's right. Like and subscribe if you like what we're doing. Go ahead, Robert.
And by the way, as far as broken hands are concerned, the only one I heard about yesterday was Stevenson. I heard that he broke his hand during the fight.
Really?
His left hand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Sheraz said he had a broken hand too. Frank Warren said it as well. So Sheraz had a broken hand. And then Madrimov. Robbie, listen to this, Robbie. Robbie, listen to this. Okay. Madrimov came out after the fight, said he was sick. What's going on over there, man?
He didn't look.
They said there was some kind of thing going around over there. Yeah, he didn't look sick at all.
He didn't look sick to me, man.
No.
Yeah, I would have claimed it too if I lost like that. Hey, boxing, thank you so much. Hang on, Robert. Boxing, thank you so much. Okay. He wants to know Robbie's opinion with the southern border at the moment. Just his question.
This is a boxing show, so I'm not going to get into that now.
Wow. Robbie, can I just say one thing? There is a rumor, Robbie. Let me just say, I'll just make it short and sweet. There is a rumor that you are calling Scott Holman and tipping him off to some of these, undocumented people. Is that true?
No.
That's what I heard. I don't know how true it is.
Anyway.
All right. I just want to clear that up, man.
No, but that's the only one I heard about yesterday with a broken hand with Stevenson. So, and by the way, Eric, the Tank Davis fight is this Saturday. So people are not going to pay $80. People are not going to pay $80 after they just paid.
You don't think it's worth $80? How dare you?
No. Fuck no, it's not.
Whoa! Easy, kid.
Robbie working blue tonight.
So excited, man.
Yeah.
You buying that Tank pay-per-view, Robbie?
No.
He's
Please.
buying it.
He's got to get some. He's got to get some cojones and actually fight somebody. He's not fighting anybody. He's going to kill Lamont Rhodes. I mean, it's going to be an early knockout.
What do you mean he's going to kill him?
People are going to walk away disappointed.
That's a poor choice of words, Robbie. What do you mean he's going to kill him?
Well, what I mean, it's going to be an early knockout.
You're wishing death on fighters. Why, Robbie? Why?
With you.
What's wrong with you?
All right.
I ain't going to waste my money. There's other fights to watch next weekend. So.
That's right. All right, Robert, we're going to put you back on hold here.
Get him out of here.
All right, who we got? 718. Brooklyn, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ralph from New York.
Raphael, what's up, man?
I hope you guys enjoyed the whole card yesterday. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I watched most of the fights on mute, so I didn't hear any of the commentators. Yeah. Only until they announced the decisions, scorecards by the judges. And the Beterbiev fight, I had it a draw. It could have gone either way. It was much closer than the first one, to be honest. But I felt like Beterbiev was dominating those those middle rounds, and it just got really, really close and tied up in the later rounds. Because Bivol, obviously, pressed on the gas, and I just feel like Beterbiev, probably, I don't know if it's a style or maybe, he's finally showing his age. Maybe the next fight will show. I believe he looked much better than the first fight, but you can tell in the corner that he just was like asking for air. But nonetheless, it was a great fight. I just feel bad for Benavidez because this just pretty much tells you kind of like the business of boxing is over the sport. Like he made all the wrong decisions. Obviously, listening to Samson and his advisors, they haven't do that kid any favors, and now he's pretty much in a very, very rough spot. And unfortunately, he's gonna have to kind of swallow the hard pill and see where that goes. But with I just wanted to comment on the Sheraz and the Adames fight.
Okay.
I know that you guys had it closed. I didn't have it closed at all. Like I had said prior to that fight, like a few weeks prior, that if Adames didn't KO Sheraz, he was not coming home with that belt. And I think he's very fortunate that he got the draw. I mean, the fact that there was a 114, 115 card in there was ridiculous. I can't really count any, 10 rounds in any of them. And, you can kind of see the bias with Turkey getting up and kind of try to tell his corner or Sheraz's corner to, hurry up. You need 2 more rounds and you need to kind of like step it up. Like that kind of makes you question whether Gervontas was right, and not going out there because he already has a favoritism with Haney. So I didn't want to look at it that way. I looked at it as like, yo, this kid is ducking, this guy, doesn't want any tough matches. But kind of like when you're putting that into context now, you're kind of double thinking that right now. And the reason that I had said Sheraz was going to win that fight prior to that fight happening was because they were already mentioning Sheraz's name in the Canelo sweepstakes for 2026. So putting that into context, the politics of boxing are still in effect, regardless of whether you want to say that Turkey is saving boxing or not. It's just another guy that's coming into the sport and is going to mold it to whatever he wants to make it. So it's unfortunate because at the end of the day, the fans just want to see great fights, but it is what it is. The politics are still at play and you still need to play the right role. But regardless of that, it was a great card. I also wanted to mention that the Madrimov Ortiz fight, even though that might have been the card, the most expected fight of the night, there were rumors swirling around the night before that the Madrimov Ortiz fight was going to be canceled because Madrimov was sick. And it's funny enough that now those rumors are probably right, like regardless of whether we want to say it or not, no excuses, but maybe there was a little bit of merit into those rumors that people started claiming they were false. But aside from that, just have a quick question for you guys, because I know that the whole card was $25.99. Do you guys see the Canelo Crawford fight being at that same price point for September?
Yeah,
No.
I think so.
You think so?
I do. For DAZN? If it's on DAZN in Riyadh season, probably. Yeah, for sure.
Can I ask you a question, Raphael?
Man, what's going on, B?
Yeah, and I'm going to ask this respectfully because I've taken the seminar from Steve Weisfeld. So has Robert. Now, when you turn the volume off, is that because you feel as though you have a susceptibility to be influenced by the judges? Because if you take the Steve Weisfeld's scoring seminar, he tells you to not allow yourself to be influenced by any outside sources, whether it be the crowd or whether it be commentators. So do you feel as though that maybe you may fall victim to the susceptibility of that, or what's your take on that?
No, so the reason that I turned it off was because I actually was listening to the Boxing Voice and just hear their commentating on the fight. And, you always have some of them are entertaining, It's
All right.
funny
It's a
sometimes
great
just hearing
comeback. You
them
just put
out,
me in my place.
My bad, B. My bad. I know. But
No,
but
man,
honestly, number two,
you scored a
I
point
don't
on the
like
beat.
her.
That's not hard. That's very hard to do.
I don't like.
All right, Raphael, we got to get we
I
got to
don't
get
like.
moving. We got
I
other
don't.
people, so we're gonna let you go here, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Man, it's
Great call. Let's go to 773. Let's see, 773. Maybe. You're live, 773.
What's up?
What's going on, man?
What's happening? Chicago.
Okay. I'm surprised all these people who know all this boxing knowledge watch it religiously and sit there and score the fight for Beterbiev based on ring generalship, based on aggression. What happened to the sweet science? What happened to the art of boxing? Look at Bivol, man. Stick and move. The angles, the in and out, the clean shots. That's boxing right there. A guy walking forward with his face in the air is not boxing. Just because he's got a good chin and he's able to take shots, that don't mean he's winning the fight. Okay, Bivol looks like a tactician out there. That's what it's all about. Am I right or wrong? I'll leave you to it.
All right, thank you so much.
I scored for Bivol. Eric scored for Beterbiev. But again, everyone has a right to their own opinion.
Yeah, I get it. All right, let's go to the upcoming fights here. So on February 24th in Tokyo on ESPN Plus, Junto Nakatani versus David Cuellar, 12 rounds for Nakatani's WBC bantamweight title. Tenshin Nasukawa was on this fight against Jason Maloney as well. And I kind of like that fight. I that's a good fight. I don't mind it. I don't mind seeing Tenshin again. I don't mind it. Junto Nakatani, of course, for me is must-see TV. Tune in. I want to see him. Everybody wants to see him in the Monster Inoue fight. Will it happen? It should. They're both in the same promotion. It's going to sell out. You know what I mean? It's huge, right? All right. So, and then March 1st in Brooklyn, New York, pay-per-view on Prime Video, PBC. Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach, 12 rounds for Davis's WBA lightweight title. Co-main, Jose Valenzuela versus Gary Antoine Russell, 12 rounds, junior welterweights for Valenzuela's WBA junior welterweight title. Albert Puello versus Sandor Martin, 12 rounds for Puello's WBC junior welterweight title. Yoenis Tellez versus Julian Williams, 12 rounds, junior middleweights. Jared Hurd is also on the card versus Johan Gonzalez, 10 rounds, middleweights. This is not a pay-per-view card. It's just not. No. It's not even close. The main event is not a pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
It's crazy too, Eric. You would think with Turkey Al-Sheikh putting on these monster cards.
Yeah, right.
You would think that would put, and it was, so you know what I'm going to say. You would think that would put pressure on these other guys because he's putting on way better cards for such cheaper pay-per-view prices. And you would think that would force the other guys to step it up, but they keep putting out the same product and charging this crazy amounts for these same, mid-level fights. And without,
$80, 25 over here for what we got yesterday. That whole WrestleMania card that we got yesterday, 25.
That was a
and now you want me to turn around and play 80, right? You want to play 80 for this, for 4 fights.
Yeah.
For 4. And the quality of these fights are nowhere near what we had yesterday. Not even close. Even close, man.
Not in the same stratosphere.
No, not even in the same ballpark. No way. March 1st, also on DAZN, Subriel Matias versus Gabriel Valenzuela, 12 rounds, junior welterweights. So there you go. Trying to see what else is on the horizon. Cambosis, Michaela, nothing huge, but they'll be there. What is Richard Torres is fighting? Okay, that's on ESPN in April. All right, no big deal.
When is that contract between Top Rank and ESPN up? Do you know?
August.
Okay.
August. So they can. So here's the deal with that. Apparently, I think that they may try to renegotiate. Otherwise, come August, They're out.
They're out, huh?
They're out. Yeah.
Yeah.
They put a lot of money behind the UFC. The UFC does better ratings, does better everything on everything they do, pay-per-view wise, everything like that. It's just.
Is the UFC going to stay there with them, or is UFC going to leave too?
I think it depends. I mean, when their contract ends, I mean, they're going to go to the highest bidder.
Sure.
And I mean, and they're going to have some bidders, that's for sure.
Imagine if the UFC went to the Zone too.
Yeah. Wow.
That would be insanity, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they work with Riyadh season 2. Sure. So it's possible, man.
Possible.
Under a Microscope said ESPN is done with Major League Baseball as well. Wow.
Are you serious?
Wow. That's what he's saying.
What's going on here?
I don't know. All right. So news and rumors this week. Some sad news, and I just found out today because it just happened today. Yeah. Greg Haugen passed away today. Awful, man. And apparently he had colon cancer that he revealed like last year or something like that. But apparently he's been fighting it for a while, so I don't know how long or anything like that. But
like 60, he's only like 60 years old too.
65. He was 65. Do you believe
65? Okay.
65, man. Yeah, young guy. Still a young guy. I mean,
horrible.
Yeah, I was really sad to hear that, man. I remember watching Greg Haugen fight Chavez. I remember him fighting Vinny Paz.
Yeah,
he fought everybody. He fought a who's who. Camacho twice. Yeah, I thought he was a good fighter, man. I really did.
Pretty sad
to hear that. Beeb, and quickly, the WBA is thinking about bringing back 15 rounds for championship fights. Beeb, I think this is a horrendous idea because we got rid of 15 rounds, because of all the incidents that were happening. I think it's an awful idea, man. I really do. What are your take on it?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, and I'll tell you why. Because I talked about this on Twitter, and I showed some statistics. And since it went down to 12, fatalities have pretty much been around the same. Because that same year when they changed it was in 82, and there was like 3 fatalities that year. And then in 2024, I believe it was, or no, 23, there was like 5 fatalities. So I don't think that there's evidence to suggest that the extra 9 minutes contributes to fatalities, because you can see a lot of these fights sometimes that end early, and there's fatalities when fights are only 12 rounds. There's fatalities when someone gets knocked out in 7. There's, so I don't think that there's evidence to support that. And I would not mind seeing the 15-round fights come back.
Well, thank you, Beeb. You're wrong. So that'll do it on this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at JHabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporter.com, and you can find me on X at ringside73. Before we go, Beeb, let them know the new show.
Yeah, so the new show is called the new channel is called The Populist Perception, and we do a podcast every Sunday at 10 a.m. And I'll put the link into the channel.
Yeah, put the link in the channel and go check it out. It's a they talk about
political
politics,
show,
not boxing or anything, but
yeah. So just in case, like if you're into politics,
that's right. And it's a really good show. It really is.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric. If you're into politics, here's a link if you guys want to subscribe to it.
Yep.
And we're pretty open-minded. We talk about everything, and just check it out there if you want.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern time, and sometimes during the week, I'll do just random videos, just like I do on this channel. I just do random videos outside of the podcast. So yeah, 10 a.m. Eastern time, we do a podcast every week. Myself, Emil Carr, and Ludo, and subscribe if you want. Make sure you check it out.
Hey, Tony Pugilist boy, no thank. How dare you just take a dump all over it? What's the matter with you?
He doesn't really like.
Just go sign up. Listen, I'm not asking you to work in a coal mine. I'm just saying go sign up. That's
it.
He
doesn't really like talking about politics.
Yeah, well, that's too bad. Now you don't have to talk. You just got to listen to him, right? Just go support the Beeb. We don't have any support for the Beeb. Come on, guys, get it together. All right, guys.
You didn't have to say no thanks. You just could have just quietly declined if you wanted.
Just quietly declined. He didn't have to do that.
You have to hurt people's feelings, Tony. Come on.
That's right.
Very sensitive.
What about that?
Very sensitive.
We got feelings too.
Very sensitive, Tony. Come on.
We'll see you guys next week, man. Have a good one.